My name's Bruce Lowe, and I am the owner of Cinema Show Music Production Company. What we do is music and sound design production for feature films, for television, for artists, and other visual projects. My credits include people like Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney, Madonna, Steven Spielberg, and Andre Crouch, Quincy Jones. And those three, Andre Crouch, Quincy, and Spielberg, we worked on The Color Purple together, Steven Spielberg's film. And also Andre Crouch and I, amongst a group of other people, did The Lion King. Elton John was the primary composer, and then we did the arrangements and vocals and so on The Lion King. It was an easy decision for me to make in regards to being involved with this project of My Life on Hold. I love the concept, and I must say I have been super inspired by these kids. I could go home and write a song about them. I get lost in time because of the wisdom that they give, just the pure inspirational giving throughout everything is timeless to me and filled with love. My wife Tina is a cancer patient. She is about to hit, the good news is she's about to hit her 5 years of being called a survivor. But when she first got diagnosed and then going through the surgeries, as a registered nurse, she was able to pick the floor of the hospital that she wanted to be on. I'm sure it was relevant to case management and friends that would be taking care of her, but it happened to be pediatric oncology floor. As a result, I pretty much moved in with my wife at the hospital, of course bouncing back and forth of taking care of the kids, yet at the same time there were oncology kids running around the halls, and we befriended several of those kids. Then my son Jonathan and my daughter Emily would end up visiting the friends, and in particular Emily and I would end up going back and being a friend with these oncology patients, so much that we would see what they had to go through, the coping skills, the families, and what they had to, their little siblings, young, but would know they loved their brother or sister, and how they would cope with the disease being in their family. And we would often be there. Emily and I would often be at the hospital during the last moments of some of these. In particular, a kid named Mario. He had cancer that had progressed, and he spent a lot of his childhood in the hospital. At this point, we met him. He was about 10 years old, and the disease had progressed pretty much, but there was some hope left for him. And so he was able to go home every once in a while, but he would spend months at a time in the hospital on the pediatric oncology floor. And so we would be friends, and it was so much love. It was so much coping. I'd say, Mario, what can Emily and I bring to you next time? And he was a fan of these laser lights. You could get one of those little pencil laser lights, not too powerful, but maybe for $1. And I'd get a bag full of those and take them to him, and he would just love it. We'd play games and talk a lot, laugh a lot, and the same thing with his little baby sister, who was probably about 7 years old, but she knew her brother was very sick in bed. Her mom and dad very seldom would leave her without being with Mario. So they're missing school, missing their friends, missing their family, and so on. Emily and I would keep going back. We did get the call that the family had summoned Emily and I because it seemed like Mario's last day. And it was. So Emily and I go to the hospital, and Mario kind of knew we were there, but he was actually pretty out of it at this point. And he, of course, said hi, recognized his family was there, and then there was a really fine gentleman from Ronald's kids, Ronald McDonald, and then Emily and I. And so we wanted to excuse ourselves during the final moments of Mario's life, and the family said, no, we want you to be here, and we want you to hold him too. And so they were up around Mario, around his chest and face, and hugging on him. And Emily and I were by his legs. Emily had hold of his ankles, and I his legs. And we could tell that he was passing on. It was tough. It never gets easy. But so Emily, it upsets me when during these moments that we've experienced where I had to let go and leaned against the wall, and I was pretty upset. And my young daughter at this point, I think she was about 15, looking, Dad, you okay? Mario holding on to Mario at the same time. And no, don't mind me, I'm telling her, just motioning. And so the family, of course, said their goodbyes, and Mario passed on. We become friends of the family. Their coping mechanisms, whether the cancer or whatever diseases within the families themselves. But I wanted to be involved with this project because it's people helping people. I hope that I can do it justice and portray what the kids are feeling. There are so many different emotions of these kids that can be an up-tempo victory, fighting, I'm going to win, nothing's going to get me down. Or it could be bluesish, because they do have their down days and where they're sad and want to hear mellower music. And so I hope to portray these different emotions that I have witnessed these children feeling and their reaction to the different musical styles or genres as they go through things. They have their headphones on during their chemo treatments or in physical therapy or just in their beds in order to sleep at night and to get through it. So I hope that I can portray these kids' emotions through the musical journey through my life.
Awesome victory.